Yeah, inibingelele futhi. Let's look at some of your comments very quickly because asemaningana wona. Asemaningi niyaphawula. Niphawula ngempela futhi, fortunately. So let's look at that. Your comments. Where were we? Yes. I'm not sure if it's loading this thing. Okay. Oh yes, there you go. Yeah, let's see. Just chilling here by the fireside. Let's see. Abantu bayaphila. Someone was commenting just an hour ago. Okay. Yabasa-ke la. Yabanda ke la indaba enizokhahlamba. Umbongeni is saying that emanxusa babalalele benze njengoba babatshela because iziningi izinto ezivelayo ezisuke zibhekene nempilo yakhe umuntu. Hayi bomama nodadewethu abahle hlani ngesansi nilalene ezilokhu nitshela bona nibone kuzokwenzani. Okay. That's one Uzwide is advising usisi ukuthi can they try at least to do as they are being requested for a change. Well, I think we really I do also wish ukuthi benganikeza leso space less to do something. At least try. I mean, there's no loss. I'm not asking people to give up their monies or their vaginas or anything like that. This one is just to make the intention and the effort. Otherwise, sizohlala singenabo ubukhosikazi, which is not a good place to be for any race. It's so vital ukuba khona kobukhosikazi esizweni. Angazi ngaqala ngaphi ngichaza le ukuthi indima yobukhosikazi ibaleke ngendlela esimanga kangakanani. And you know, it's a shame ukuthi some of your elders found themselves being used to peddle this thing. A division amongst the family units. Because again, aphunela lapho omunye ethi abafazi were somehow superior beings to men. But that's not what this is about. It's not what this is about. There's no about the moment you start to say khona bangaphezulu kwabanye qala lapho ke inkinga. Qalile ke lapho inkinga ke. Manso khuluma nje ukuthi khona okuphezulu kunomunye washawa cima, problems begin. And zaqala lapha, I think we will talk about it when we go deeper into this issue. kaNomkhubulane and the ancient queens ukuthi kwenzakalani. How did we lose that essence ebaleke kangaka? And then we go on to the next comment there. Siyabonga Patience Nkosi, siyabonga Khehla, uqinisile impela noma sengibona ama video sekukade adlala. No, that's fine. Take your time. You can even go to the beginning if you want. Sijahendao. Yeah. Samukela Ntombela uthi nakashembe ikhona lento bayibiza ngentaba yepheza. I wonder ukuthi basebenzani labo. Lapho ke phela hey futhi ke nje Dambo futhi awuthi ngithule kodwa nje lapha liyadlala kakhulu inomo futhi liphethe inomo lapha kula musi unkonzo thizeni / hayi amakhalthini kodwa phela niyawathanda sizothini Bongani Sandile saying what about a nation school for boys in South Africa? Ukukhulisa kwabafana is something esizoyenza thina as time goes on emkhizoneni because lama course ninawo awanabo ubukhosi so they're not going to be able to start that. Nalapha la kwenziwa khona kaXhosa will have to intervene so that certain things change because sekungena nemoya engcolile kakhulu kule yanto yenziwa lapha. It's a thing that is supposed to happen but izinto esezenziwa khona sesihamba nobunuku aseyanukuza amaXhosa lapha and unfortunately izinto zisuke ziranwa abantu just angry men who are very bitter about whatever it is they're bitter about. So it has turned into a thing of men who are just taught to be denigrating isithunzi ukwehlisa isithunzi sabantu besifazane. So there are practices laphana ezikhombayo ukuthi no man seems like laba mabethi ubudoda sibekhuluma ngokuthunazo kwesithunzi somuntu wesimama but that's not what it's about. We'll have to intervene nalapho sometime ukuthi how do we get the thing back in line iqonde ngoba kumele iqonde eqondile. Yeah, so we move on to Usivu Nkomo. What does time do to those who know what to do but do not act towards realizing it? Time is a very harsh person. Time will deal with people like that very harshly. You know, if you know how to traverse time and go through time, space, but you don't do anything about that, then the question remains, what are you doing here? And the universe does not like, isn't as idle, isn't in a purpose. So it seeks to get rid of them. Now, people, if you know your task that you're supposed to do, then do your task. Don't sit and not do your task because uzoshona singakapheli isikhathi sakho. Your time, moments are taken for your time, your lifespan. So your lifespan will dramatically decrease and you will die before your time. You die before your time. Don't mistake it. That one is there. It's a very serious thing. People die before their time and it's such a sad situation. So if you know what to do but do not act towards realizing your goal or purpose, Sifu, I vote that you stop doing that and you take the thing very seriously. Lebogang Malefane is saying great insight into surnames. What is ukuchaba? I'm thinking we should chaba for Abazondi, for example. Abantu abachabayo abachezayo as Amampondo would put it. Those sort of things were done. How it began, I was shown here a picture with you. India Kala Mkuba was identical twins. So lento yamawele afana nemishi ngale ndlela ukuthi nokukhuluma kwawo they would sound the same. Was a very shocking anomaly back in the days. And so they developed a technique to differentiate the one twin from the other. Ngiyayithi abantu ababheka kakhulu izinto ezenziwa ama-traditions akwamkhize especially. Angisho ngoba uyisizwe sakithi, but they tend to be quite a very old people. And Lapana, it has a very very distinct cultures within the family. Kunomkhize abacabayo bese kukhona umkhize abangacabi. Kunomkhize abamhlophe, kube nomkhize abamnyama. And that thing is quite obvious when you see it. But still same family. So yeah, there was an issue of twins that were extremely identical that started that whole thing. Kuyinto yokumarka ukuthi this is the twin, separate from the others. And then some people took it further and stretched it to as a family thing. So that twin, practically the children of the twin that was marked would then take up that kind of thing as their own family thing, to make a distinction between them and the other family. So Tolugu team, that's how that family Zondi started. Uzondi wahlukana nomfowabo kanjalo. And then as Uzondi yena, she would caba because that's how they used to mark themselves. And then they grew into a big clan. And the signature thing yabo ukuthi bazocaba kanje. And they're not the only ones. Mningi imizi ecabayo, like I mentioned. But the origins of ucaba come from the necessity to distinguish between the two twins, because kwakukhona inkinga ezibakhona, people not being able to distinguish between the one from the other one. Ubekhona neyinkinga lona mayeganga kuzocabanga ukuthi it's the other one, and the other one gets punished for the sins of the other. So it was seemingly a very straightforward thing. And then those things kind of evolve up to a point where they become something with a supernatural mythology around them. So uthola ukuthi sekhona isiko elithi ethiwa liyakhaleleka because you didn't do it. Now, of course, angisho ukuthi awekho amasiko akhalelekayo. Akhona amasiko akhalelekayo where in actual fact, like I make the example about ngubani uthi seemingly that method of chopping off one pinky finger does something genetically, because otherwise if they don't do it they lose their minds. So seemingly someone had a very great insight on how to solve a genetic mystery. And what I do note is that what I do note is that someone was having a very brilliant understanding of the genetics, and it may have been the result of ukulumbana kwabazalanayo. I wouldn't be shocked if ungobana comes because someone made a child with their sister. So chances are there was a blood relation there that happened. Abantu bandawonye came together and gave birth to a child. And the only way that thing could be fixed, because here's the thing about ukulumba nakumlando is that it always causes a genetic dysformity. Abantu abazalwa ndawonye, when they make children, they come out deformed 9 out of 10 times. So those guys back then must have figured out a way to circumvent that, but it became absolutely necessary for abantu baka Ngubane to remove this pinky, this part of their pinky, so that it's either, if you look at it from a physiological perspective, you can imagine maybe that trauma causes a particular hormonal change, and hormones. So maybe that flood of adrenaline at that particular time and point causes an entire wiring or rewiring of the brain or something like that. That shock has a permanent lasting effect, and it causes the body to adapt in a very strange way and allows that person to be normal. Now, this is something for abantu baka medicine to research exactly what happens, but thina siyazi abantu ukuthi if umuntu wakangubani enganqumanga umuntu uphanjanelwa yikhanda, it's a fact. Now, medically, they'll have to research that, and I'm just proposing that those are possibly the reasons. So akhona ama family traditions that have a bearing on what happens to you as a person because of ama origins enu, uthi nisuka phile emuva, and how you came to be. And then we go to Lebogang again. Okay. So what are those cows? Oh yes, I remember this comment earlier. So what are those cows in the kraal for, if not food, for blood rituals and eating them? If blood is the currency used to control the second level of heaven, where all the ancestors reside or are still en route to cross the river, then what is the currency to ascend directly to bypass the second level, where everyone seems to have been trapped due to various reasons, mostly the mkuba of blood rituals as you propose or promote your former spiritual knowledge? What's interesting is that you make a distinction between the ancestors bad and good, and do emphasize communicating or meditating to get clean path with no blood rituals. Suppose that would relieve a whole lineage of those or not ever embracing their normal agreement. Your analysis of the normal, while very clear in how they obviously have been given power to rule corners in some aspects of life. However, these good ancestors emphasize that they will lead one to come to contract. What is their description or type or intention? For me, I feel there is a bit of extended rent or hypercritical of normals and the contract they present to each knowledge. Supposedly, very different contracts and terms for different families, of course. Ukutwala is clearly a trap. How about those cows where they were already trapped? I think he is referring to the video where I was talking about the surnames and the cows that I met, or the great cow that I met. And I was saying, Uti Lebogang, you must go and review or look at the mythology of the sun god who gave Imhlambi ezenkomo, a lot of cows, to a particular tribe. That story survives with the Maasai. The Maasai will tell you the story about the sun god who gave them their cattle, those ankoles there. And he said to them, they shall never eat the cattle, or which means that they were not allowed to kill the cows. But they could have, they could drink ilokuzan ubislas. That was not the issue. So they could drink the milk, but they were not allowed to kill the cattle. That was the rule that was given. End of story. Now, as old as that story is, it takes you back to the origins of keeping cattle. Abantu did not keep cattle up until such a point where they were inspired to. Because that story speaks to someone who inspired them to keep cattle. Now the question is who? But they say it's the sun god. No problem whatsoever. Even if you go and check some of our ancient inscriptions, keeping cattle was something that was not normal until we had to go through a phase where we invented Ikeja. So we can go look at the hieroglyphics there in Egypt. So when people invented the cow-drawn hoe or Ikeja, then there was an intrinsic need to keep cattle, but specifically for drawing that hoe for sowing seasons and for planting and all those things. So till the land, because it made it much easier and faster. So that was the purpose. And lento yokudla inyama is relatively new to our people, actually. It's a very relatively new thing. I think all the people who have delved into finding ancient history with black people, they know eating meat is something very rare. If you go further and further back in time, you are rarely ever going to come across people who consume meat. And those that did, they will have a thing of hunting, like abattoir. They would roam around hunting for meat, and they date their drawings there, and they're not that old as well. But if you go back, you find, eating meat was not really a normal thing. Because even now, Abattoir don't eat a lot of meat. They do consume more of vegetation than they consume meat. Hence, they will hunt, and then they will dry that meat, and they will eat it sparingly across until it's finished. It's not a daily thing that they used to do. Now, be that as it may. Now, you cannot then claim keeping cows in the kraal being a very recent tradition due to the evolution of community dynamics in population. Now says blood rituals are things that are currency. Blood is not a currency anywhere in the universe. Wherever the blood is spilled, there is a complaint. I think people should know this. Wherever blood is spilled, there's a complaint. It's not a good thing, because the creator of the universe did not permit you to commit murder, to kill. You are not given the permission to kill. This is why when he created your body, there's nothing in the human body that is designed specifically to commit murder or to make something else to die. You don't have venom. You don't have sharp, aggressive teeth that can bite into another creature. You don't have claws to grab onto prey. You are literally the weakest of animal in the animal kingdom. You are literally you don't possess anything that is life threatening. The only thing that comes from you that is threatening has to come from outside. So you have to be innovate, basically, so that you can commit murder. So that says that for you to commit murder or kill, you have to premeditate it. It's not something that you do. It's not in your instinct design, because you are not created as a hunter. You're not a predator. So we're not created as predators. So whenever we commit murder or we kill an animal or in any form or fashion, there is Carlo there. You are accused. Whether it's a chicken or what. In England, you will find a lot of chickens waiting for you on the other side because you killed them. Asking why you killed them. They'll ask. you'll have to account for those chickens that you killed. It's just how it is. So there's no currency that is blood for crossing anything anywhere. This is why those people who crossed over and got trapped there, Evanzini and in the up and downs, there is no way out for them. Even when they come back and tell you to slaughter 15,000 cows, uzofa now ubajoyine laphana, you will be trapped together. It's a never-ending circle. Some of them are underwater. These things are knitting upon, but in actual fact, you are going to Uqil, because there's a doorway behind that place that leads you to go and work at the plantation there, designing technology that we see today. Millions of black people are there busy inventing things, and then they come as ideas to people who need them. Oh yes, it's this very loaded question. Yeah. Yes, there is a distinction between our ancestors, Amabi and Amahl. And the reality is the fact that those people who could not cross over are the most dangerous to you because they can be manipulated. Akukho mnandi. Because I mean we're downplaying it when we are saying people are trapped in level 2 heaven. No. It's not a happy place to be. It is worse than being in the fire pit of hell. That space is the most depressing for all the souls that ever traversed the universes. So it's not a great place to be, and some of your people really will succumb because of the desperation. The sheer desperation is the thing that will get them to be coerced or duped into coming back here and get you to agree to things that they feel or think is going to assist them, only to find out later. So you have to understand this distinction. Be very clear about it. Understand that those people who are frequenting you, chances are they didn't cross over. And if they didn't cross over, have a conversation with them. Help them understand their situation. And, it's not going to be a place for you to intervene. For most of them, it's not going to be a place. So don't really... It's like you have to take a certain position and understand who you are and what you came here to do, and not compromise by deviating to things that have nothing to do with you, because you will just waste your life, and then of course you just end up advancing like them. So my analysis of Unomo, Amanomo, very okay. No, Amanomo don't have power to rule anything. They don't have a power to rule anywhere. This is the thing I'm always trying to tell you, is that these beings don't have any authority anywhere. They have taken or stolen or tricked you to giving them authority. It doesn't belong. They don't have it. Amanomo, specifically Amanomos, don't have authority anywhere. They actually are prisoners from another time, another place, another universe. That's where they come from. And when they escaped where they escaped, there's not even a lot of them. A few of them escaped. And what they did was they stole the orbs of light. The heart of the stars is what I call them. Those orbs of light, nature looked in a deep spiritual. Those are the hearts of stars. They stole them. And they use those things as a source for the magic that they do. They perform magic, you get impressed. It's not because they don't have any power anyway. You allow them because you gave them the authority by signing over or taking the contract. I always try to explain this. With these contracts that you take, you are not winning. It's not a win for you. You're not getting anything. these ones are clever to understand. You already have these things that you're looking for. The chances are you are frustrated because you are taking too long to get to them. But bona bayakwazi ukuthi bakubhutshuzele. And the thing about it is, those things that you feel like are major, big things, a lot of money, imoto, a success. Because some of you nithwalela nokuthi nje niyothola umsebenzi. All of those things are minuscule compared to the things that they take from you. Minuscule things. You cry for minuscule things and you think you're getting a great deal. Udumo, being the most famous artist, in those things are minuscule when you really look at the potential and the inkazimulo ekumuntu that was given to him and what he can bring into being. If you understood that, then you will see why I always say to you, Uti, making contact with these beings is not a win. It's a scam, ban scam. They're scamming you at the churches, they're scamming you as in Dumbe and everywhere. These normals don't really have, they're not giving you anything, they're just giving you into Velegu, where they're just taking from your pocket and giving it to you in the hand. Because you seemingly can't reach into your own pocket. So that's the story here. And it allows them to steal, not just from you. They start being able to steal from the crawl of the family through the lineage. Because they'll come back tomorrow and convince your child that then do what he did for us, and then now it's about right. And then the thing continues on and on and on and on. And then eventually it will run out. And when it does, a shame, problem. So we can talk about that being an extreme rant or hypocritical or what, but the reality of the situation is, wow, even if you imagine that the contracts are different for all the families even if you imagined somehow in your mind that that could be the case, the bottom line is, in all of these contracts, you are not gaining, you are losing. So why continue on something that is a loss? And it boggles my mind why we're even asking this question or even debating this issue of Manomos. Why are you so hell-bent on bringing things that are taking from us? Because essentially these things are parasites. A parasite, they're feeding off our energies, they're feeding off our our intellect, everything you can imagine that is required to survive and thrive on this planet, they take. And you want to come here and talk about some extended rant or hypocritical. Hey, normals are not your friends. They know they are not your friends. I've dealt with them very thoroughly. They know their story. And there's different types of normals, by the way. But the original ones, the original normals are not your friends. Even the not so original ones are worse. At least the Gelawa original don't even try to possess you. You go there to them willingly. But Lawa Manye, Lawa, this half and half, some are hybrids. Anyway, so the cows are not given to you to eat or to perform rituals. Just get that out of your mind. It's not even a debate. We are doing things because Safika Wenziwa, but you don't understand why and the repercussions of them. And then we are always crying about and we have not made any progress, by the way. Matiba on those jealous ancestors. No, I'm glad that you are understanding these things. Some of your ancestors really are jealous of you because they are stuck, and when you're trying to make some headway. And then he is talking about the going to the wilderness for 30 days. Yes, it's very important, the thing. I was actually shared a video by Utumisang there today. I think some culture there in the Middle East, where they take walks into the desert for 14 days, and they were talking about how extraordinarily they felt spiritually awakened because of that, and enhanced. Make sure I share the link here. The Lahoti people, and you can check this documentary. It's a short film by National Geographic, but these are people who go out into the wilderness to seek spiritual enlightenment and activation. It's nothing new. So you find that the things that I say here are not an invention of my own. It's things that are there that you are supposed to know, but Anizas. I'll share this in the comment section here. Look at that. Yeah. I see. Okay. Now I'm letting some of your chats here. Yeah, no. Ijalo science room. They of course they do have a practice of atoning. Before they kill an animal, they will atone and request that it gives up, because they know ukuthi badle icala. So they developed a system where they try to atone before they shoot an animal down with an arrow. Usandile asking me about the relationship with the sun. Why are you asking me about my relationship with the sun? Hey, yeah. Awuchazi lapho ibongani Sandile. Why are you asking me about my relationship with the sun? This is interesting. Ujalo mahlobo lapha. Isibaya is something that's relatively new. As a construct yokufuya ingo, but it's a good idiom to use when you are referring to umndeni as we have come to know it. No, it's a good thing, but it wasn't there before. It's a relatively new development, because people did not keep cattle until recently. Matiba, yeah. Your videos have helped me to improve spiritually. I've even time traveled unexpectedly to the future, but the problem is that I can't control it. It happens randomly. So how can one control time traveling with ease? Where can you be able to go in and search for answers? The key, Matiba, is to be patient. That is the biggest key, because what I learned was you can't force utis into shesh, because when you do, then you're forcing yourself to accept information or take in information that you are not ready for. So you have to allow yourself to develop cognitively and expect that it's going to align. Things align like that, but because you've already made the intention to find out something, that's enough. You will find it. But you're not finding it out right now because your mind is not ready to receive that information. It might seem like something interesting to you that you really, really want to know right now, but finding it out might cause you to lose your mind, for example. So allow yourself to be taught by the universe. Allow it to piece information together for you in the correct order and sequence. Correct order and sequence that you don't know. Because you would have to understand the fabric of the universe, which is not possible. I mean, it's very difficult to do that. I would imagine, I think even people who were trying to find a unified string theory or the one unified theorem of everything died in a very pitiful state, realizing it is not possible. And even these quantum computers that are developing are not going to be able to figure that out because it's not possible. It's not something that created beings are not given like that. So you have to accept randomness is the way the universe works. It appears random to you, but in the universe it's pretty much straightforward. So don't panic. Don't rush. The answers will come when you really need them. It's not about when you expect them, it's about when you need them, when you actually need them and can assimilate them, because there is a danger of assimilating information that does not have a proper place. Ukuthi izofika ihlale kuphi. Balekile leyo nto leyo ni understand. Nxumalo is back days ago. Bayede siyabonga kusikhanisela izindlela eziqondile zokuphila wena Sembe. Engiphawulayo ngokuthi emkhezaneni kuyakhula kakujaha kufanele silalelise ngoba izinkumela ezethulayo kuvame ukuba lokhiye umuntu angawasebenzisa ukuze abone noma kade engaboni. Inkinga esikhungethe unganaki asinange uma singafunda ukulalela senza kushoyo bese siyanakisisa ngokungajahi sinake silinde singesineke. This is interesting. Just repeated what I just said. Injalo ke wena sweet. I have to be patient. Patient, especially with yourself. I think that's the thing. We need to learn to be patient with yourself, especially. Not with me, but with yourself. I mean, you're not going to be patient with me. I'm a very boring guy. You're not going to learn to be patient with me until you can be patient with yourself. Injalo. Angibonibonga Mthinda. That's a good question. That's interesting, Bongan. Yeah. No, but continue there. I think you're one of very few people who have come to realize my connection with the sun. Yeah, but the sun is a very interesting star, and in there is a particular gateway, and in there's a particular throne, and there's someone who sits on the throne. So there is something called the Sun King. I say there was a story about someone who wrote the chariot, and the chariot was pulling the sun across the sky, causing for there to be sunrise and sunset. But just continue on that trajectory. Don't panic. Don't worry too much, Bongan. If you meet me there in the sun, just relax. I'm there I'm supposed to be there. Umqhele welanga. Yeah, I guess that's what I should say. And umqhele welanga is something that every black man should be able to wear. So should mhlawumbe uzoshesha utholeke umqhele welanga, because nakuthi ke uvela izinto zelanga. It's very interesting. But yeah, if you remember ukuthi the ancients always have to draw this thing of the sun. Let me see if I can get some quick images here from Egypt. Let's get some images here. Yeah, this kind of situation, this wearing of the sun that used to happen, and this wearing of the sun, it transformed when the Westerners took some of the mythology and tried to integrate into Christianity. It transformed into a bathini. Ngabonje naba la nala. Ugqoka ilanga bathwele ilanga ekhanda umqhele welanga. It transformed into a what is this thing bathini belungu that supposedly all the saints have a halo. It transformed into something called a halo. That the saints in Christianity have around their heads. So everyone they consider as a saint, ibanale halo la yawitabo. Now I'm a halo la. Okay. Even the Praje here on a halo. But here's the thing. Now mamu merla pane mangelos pila pana. Yabonje kune halo la always around. Some old paintings from Christianity. Yeah, now madoda hlela pana atlisidle sogcina. There's a halo around them in their heads. You even go back, I think even Mose has a halo thing that goes on there, because people will say utakasabugeki. And look at the etymology of the word halo. They are taking it from Helios, where Helios is a Greek word for the sun. So it comes to Christianity as a halo. Uthi ugqoke ilanga. Ilanga ke liyaqhokeka ke. Can go and find it. Ingakho ngithi vukani ekseni madoda nibuke ilanga. Let's go on to Stanley. Stanley is saying that the elites are worshipping God and Satan, and the next biggest disaster is nuclear war. Of course, Africa has to go back to the current land to create the Father. They need to know His name, the supreme originator. Yeah, that's true. Injaloge, I guess then, if you are able to grasp this one is one of the difficult videos for people to process. I know, because they get defensive on this thing of God. But I'm very happy that someone was able to synthesize what I was saying here. Injalo nje, these people, and then he goes on about the dreams, the return of the gods. Oh yeah, they are my aliens. Okay, God is our enemy. It's just two animations. Exactly, God is our enemy and Satan are the same spirit. Christians don't understand. It's the reason why the continent is stuck in poverty and suffering. By the way, blacks are waking up to the truth about God, and these other gods are just idols, fallen angels. Okay. If you are able to gather this thing. But I guess everyone has a particular thing they can pick up, or they are ready to assimilate into their mind space. Okay. Okay, let's move on. I'll try to look at more of a question type of, but Sebonga Stanley, it's very encouraging. And then someone saying, Uhlatswayo Mpumi, labelung elects are quick to silence anyone who speaks against them. Look at Rashid Buddha found dead just before a big interview. People will become too scared to talk. Injalo nje, hey, hayi bandla. And the thing about it is they always send our own people to commit the murders. Abazibulaleli bona abantu bakithi. And then Pila Kumalo was asking me to address the issue of Isithunywa. I think I did address the issue of Isithunywa on a lot of videos. And whenever I talk about this Isithunywas, hey, kuningi man, kuningi. Hey. And there's ziningi lezi zinto lezi, isigebengu lesi. But I wonder ukuthi ufuna is-address kanjani Isithunywa, or maybe it's referring to this thing of saying ukuthi someone unesithunywa and whatnot. I wonder. But I don't understand, guys, how do you end up with one Stunyas? Yeah, but anyway. Moving on this, you have Ngiyabonga kakhulu Galela, bonga mina Amithaba, Ohlatshwayo below inzima. Of course, guys. Kubi. But it's even worse for the people who can't do anything about it anymore. Tina, at least we are still alive. There's something we can still do. I see people really appreciated that video, that you don't have to fall victim to your challenges. Nathi ni strong nje mina ngihlezi nilithiwa abantu abamnyama strong, but ngiyaqhakeka nje mase nivela naye nikela kotshwala niyazibulala nenza yonke into nje. Hey guys, musaniba weak man, musaniba weak qinani. And then numbers Kumalo is asking what about reincarnation? Do we return to the earth many times until our mission is complete? I think I did put a short there. Some lady was going on about that as well. Nobody wants to come back here because izwe elifana lesiqalekiso leli njengamanje. Umhlaba usesimeni esimbi kakhulu. Ever since we abandoned a position yethu as ama-wardens ojele bala ekhaya, saye kuba ojele saphenduka iziboshwa. So nobody wants to come back here. And even that thing of reincarnation, I always say, reincarnation does not really, it should look at it in the sense of just plain sense. Umhlaba nezulu and the creation itself is something that is limitless. So why would there be a need to recycle human beings and their souls thereof? If the creator of the universe is boundless and eternal, why would he need to recycle? What would be the reason? That's the question we should ask. Why would there be a need to recycle? Are we saying that there is an extent and limit to the creator of the universe? Does he run out of perpetual creation? Can't be. But anyway, I feel like there is infinite permutations of genetic combinations, for one. So even in the physical aspect, you don't run out of genetic code. People similarly will never run out of being unique to one another. Even twins are not alike exactly. There's a very small difference between them, but they're different nonetheless. So there's always room to create. It's never going to run out. This is why death is also very vital, so that people come in, people leave, people come in, people leave. Injalo Makhumalo. Mbongeni sibheka bhala essay Mbongeni la. Madoda uyafunda kanjani essay ngani? Hayi madoda. Uphi Mbongeni azofunda le essay yakhe? Ngavelela kuma comment kuma chat. Inkulu indaba ekubhekwe nenayo kulaba abadala cishe ngonyaka odlule ngeke ngaphupha sakwazi esizala ubaba esisadlula emhlabeni ngokungathi ngiyafika ekhaya ngambingelela base ngithi ngihlala phansi athi ungahlali phansi hlala kulesi sihlalo sikamkhulu wakho wayengeneme kukhona noblanket bokulala sengathi uyawasha ngaphaphama lapho kulonyaka ngiphupha inkosikazi kabamncane usaphila engena kubhilidi engiphuma kulona mangiphuma ngingena kwelinye elingaphesheya lapha yakunama escalators ayiglass ashesha lokho ukuthusayo ifloor yokuqala inendoda eqoke kahle njengabaphathi bezinkampani formally okay le yesibili ifloor ayesemaningana lamadoda inkinga yawo ayebheke le engiflathele hayi angisinda lawa amaningana ngixhumela ezitebhisini ezehlayo ngaze ngaphuma mangiphumela eminyango ngisithele phezulu kwengane yomfana igqoke ijacket ebegqokwe unkosikazi kababamncane leni ngane ngiyayazi ngempela la ephusheni kodwa mase ngiphapheme angiyazi igundiwe ekhanda kabi ishefuliwe nje iyahamba iyangibuka manje ngiyayizibuza ukuthi ngiyazelaphi konje lengane hayi ngize ngiphaphame ngicabanga ngaleli phupho kuze kubuye ubuthongwana kulobo ubuthongwana iqhamuke futhi lengane iqojeme ke manje iyangibuka hayi ngixhume ezingubeni hayi ingidide lento manje kuvele nje bayagula lapha yakuleya muzi kwaNxumalo mhlawumbe emva kwesonto ngifonele umfowethu angitshela ukuthi umkamba omncane ushayeke kabili ngekhanda waye esibhedlela bafika bathi uconselwe igazi ebuchosheni kulezo nsuku kugula ubaba omncane ayesibhedlela ngiye kumbona ngimcela ukuba kunganjani sihlanganise sonke simanxweni siyobuza kwabadala ukuthi inkinga ilaphi njengoba sekugula wonke umuntu kuxatshenwe kuginqika nezimoto kulimele nabantu manje bayangibalekela nodade wabo kababa ngamubiza ngalengane ngambuza ngalengane yomfana waphika waze wavuma kamuva ukuthi ikhona ingane eyashonayo ngasho futhi ukuthi inkosana yakhona ekhaya wavuma ngoba wavele kwasho kimi egazini ukuthi ingane yokuqala ekhaya le manje inkinga ngabo abangamukeli kahle abangibizi ngisho kushoniwe enye indaba kuvela ubukhosi kuyo lendlu yasekhaya kunenkulumo yokuthi baguliswa ukucindezelwa ibona ubukhosi yes bayangibalekela ngempela sengathi ngiyabanukela manje bancane sephinde wagula ke manje sevele wayiswa e-care center ngoba akekho ozomnakekela ngivumelana bayade ukuthi indlela abenza ngayo ikhona into yemfihla abangafuni ukuthi ngifinyelele kuyona yabona-ke leyo ke weNxumalo igadeke ngoba yabona mase kunokukhosi phakathi kube khona le genge le yayivele ibanga ubukhosi ivele iba thina amatheli laba abanye bangakufuni ngisho nokuthi bakubone because they want to stop you uthi uyibuyisele endleleni yakhona leyo nto because bashona bebuhalela lobukhosi noma bebulale befuna belwa nje kakhulu so lapho ke inkinga ukuthi you're not just dealing with people abaphilayo in the flesh kuqaba emva kwabo olushaya lombango lubashaya ngabo This is the issue. Lapha nakuNxumalo. I think into ezokusiza mina ukubuka kwami is that ake uzama ukuxhumana noZwide Kalanga. Yeah, but I'm getting a very strong suggestion ukuthi indaba inoma wakhe. Uma ngaZwide kwakuba ngamba Ntombazi. Yeah, so they say ukuthi Ntombazi noma okay, uthi uNtombana yena. So awukhume noNtombana and see where he can take you. Try not to focus too much on these people because baphethwe nkosami imimoya yombango and ngeke ubenze lutho. Yabona nje lento le ukubangwa kubukhosi. Take it from me. Abantu bancamela ukuthi bafe. Tato, you're asking killing an animal in the spiritual realm. Killing it in what sense? Are you killing it because you are killing it, or is there a self-defense thing? Or what happened? Welcome back, Rebecca Sawas. And then we look at how. Yeah, no, Nxumalo indaba le. Idinga uZwide impela. It looks like uphakathi kombango omkhulu actually. And very soon these ones are going to start claiming ukuthi bathakathwa uwe actually. So I don't know, maybe you need to step away from them a bit. Bese uxoxa kahle noZwide labani uzokuthi kahle kahle kwenzakalani. They need to show you what you need to do, where you need to start. But it seems like ukhiye ugogo kakhulu. UMakaZwide, I think we know what ukhiye kakhulu. I don't know what happened. Because lento, oh yeah, it's because of Zwide. Did they take ikhanda likaZwide? I think wanqunywa ikhanda uZwide. So that's a big problem there. Namakhanda afuna ukulandwa, guys. Tato, in self-defense, if you are dreaming of an animal attacking you, that's not really an animal, that's something else. There's a particular spirit that is fighting you. Usually, if an animal is attacking you in a dream, it's usually meaning that there's a demonic entity that's attacking you. But it's presenting itself as some fearsome creature that you are going to be afraid of. So it's not an issue. And then these royals who are wearing animal skins, lions and cheetahs, I discovered that those things have really nothing to do with representing royalty, but it means something else entirely. I think I made a video about the cherubim that has 4 different faces, and one of those faces was the lion, and something was done with regards to the lion, because the lion represents a particular spirit of authority. So there was a spiritual exchange that happened, and then these people would wear, it's sort of like abantu bafundiswa ukuthwala ngamabhubesi. But the bottom line is like, how to explain this thing, man? It's like one of the first things that took umuntu away from the protection and proximity to the creator of the universe is something they did to the lion. Bayenza with the lion, the first lion, and they say this wearing this animal skins has to do with royalty. Not really. It has to do with something else entirely. Amacala lawa kahle kahle. Amacala impela. and they became something that royal chiefs were at a later stage, because one of the rites of passage was for for example, Nemizi that would say, if you qualify to be a king, then you must go and kill a lion with your bare hands. And then they would do that, and then they would wear the skin of the lion, and they would become a king because they were able to defeat a lion or defeat a cheetah or what have you. So it became fashionable to do that. But in the higher spiritual sense, there's a thing about the lion and umuntu and the crime and the creator of the universe and the distance between the two of us. We were kicked out of his protection. I think that deserves a very long set of videos. I think I've touched on that in one of the videos yet, but it's a series, that one, because explaining the Garden of Eden situation has to happen, and why and when, and the eating of the fruit, and why the creator of the universe suddenly felt disgusted by coming close to Adam, and Jack Nink. So we move on to Katlego Mokulubiti. Uti, in terms of wearing the sun, people have this idea that when they sit on the sun, they get sick. Also, getting suntan is awful, but they want to stay light all the time. They should really accept the sun. This because abantu are vibrating on the thing of wanting to be white. They are possessed by the spirit of whiteness. And I always feel like shame. It's understandable. They see the things that belong to them in white people. So they don't understand why they feel so attracted to whites. They are attracted by their own inkazimulo that white people are wearing. So I go toos, but it's sad at the same time. This thing of amadlozi namatholente. Yes. How do you distinguish? I think it's easy to distinguish those things. How do you differentiate between your own talents given and those of amadlozi? It's very simple, that one. People who obtain talents from amadlozi, they know they've signed. People who've signed, they know. People who've made contracts, they know. There's nothing really that needs to be defined. It's not going to happen to you without knowing. You will know when you've went and sold yourself to obtain a particular skill. So Unhlanhla Mlambo is saying, so what are we supposed to praise? Whom am I supposed to pray to? I'm 20. I've went through your content. I don't know what to praise. I'm lost now. It's a paradigm shift. Cool. That's a good one. I think we can end it there. I always ask, are you guys have not had enough of this thing of our worship? Has it not been enough of worshiping yet? Come on. You've been doing this thing for millennia, and it hasn't done anything. Why are you so obsessed with this thing of worship? Why do you feel like you are not complete until you worship something? Where does this thing come from? When the creator of the universe created you and plonked you on this planet and said, go forth and complete your purpose. When he brought you here, he didn't say, build a church. If he did bring you here to worship him, he was going to create churches to exist in every corner of the earth without you building them. He was just going to make sure in all his creation, there's also a church or an altar or a temple. Because this is how it is. This is just how he is. He would never, or she would never or it would never ask you to go outside of what he has created in you. Everything that you need on this planet. When he said to you, okay, well, you need to eat, did he not create amazinho in the stomach, in the mouth, and the whole piping system yakona, and the whole digestive system yakona, everything to the T? Even the endocrine system that goes with that is built in. Konke, and the nervous system, all of it, they are concerted for you to eat. And when you go outside of your body, outside in the world, there is food for you to eat abundantly. Now, why would he say or desire you to worship him and not create the system of worship and build it inside you and outside and around you? Why would he not do that? Because these things I'm talking about, you don't even have to imagine them and be philosophical about them. No, they are there. Oh, you need to eat food, okay. Find that you have teeth and in a particular shape that is very specific to the type of food. And then you have a tongue that tastes the different flavors of food. You have a nose that inhales and picks up the scent of the food and prepares your endocrine system and your nervous system for eating. Your stomach starts releasing hydrochloric acid and all these other things, and secretions in the biles and all those things, and peristalsis of the esophagus starts taking place, and the saliva that is released into your mouth from all your salivary glands to lubricate and help with the mastication of the food. So the system is purpose built for you to consume food. This is an example I'm making. I mean, it's very rudimentary, but it speaks to everything on this planet. When the creator of the world and everything created everything, he made sure that he created it to work in concert and completion around its purpose. It doesn't just put something somewhere and give it a purpose that it does not have around itself, and then it doesn't create an environment for it. I'll tell you, your elders did not build churches and temples. There was no need, and they were thriving. They didn't build any temples of worship. They were thriving. The moment the civilization of the Nubians started collapsing is when they started worshipping something. That's when they collapsed. It went downhill from there. But the oldest parts of Ikemu and Nubia, there is no temples of worship. Even the things that they imagine are temples of worship are not actually temples of worship. I can't even tell you what those things were because angifuna belungibazi imfihlo iyayenzeka lapha. I don't want them to know. But lapha koKhemu kwangenziwa izinto zokuthi kuyakhonzwa. And then when they started doing that, the civilization collapsed. We lost power. We lost power because we became religious and worshippers of something. So, for Mlambo ngizothi mina awukuyeka kancane ukukhonza. Don't be kneeling and praying to anyone or even yourself, but rather spend your days trying to connect to the creator of the universe and to know it or him or her. Have an intention and desire for it or her or him to reveal itself to you in everything. You'll be able to see it, and then you'll see why I say with this praise and worship, you are not created to do those things. Yeah, okay. Anyway, but let's see here. Oh, ugcine shonile baba omncane. Wow. Hey, incane senqimalo. But yeah. Hey, these things zisasebukhosini zinzima, guys. Uzomela uqineke ndoda and see. But njengoba ngikuchazela nje naw zama lapha impela la uzosizakala khona. Because you need to find answers. And the answers will come. So now Tato is saying, let's say, the authority of what exactly? If it was a lion and you were you dreaming when you were killing and skinning the lion, or was it? Are you talking about the rite of passage? Nah. And then Fuze keeps dogs. I can't say for sure. Like I've never really looked into why are we keeping dogs in the first place, because now they used to be wild animals. So I wonder, I guess because you can connect to dogs and cats, it's something that you can discover. So those are our lapik grouping with fools. But now I wonder actually what's the story there. But le emakati, there seems to be a very interesting ancient story around it, and there seems to be a race of people that are felines that used to exist on this planet, and amakati supposedly they are descendants. So that's the Yamakati. I have an idea about it. It in Jagi that I've never really looked into, but we do know of the Anubis. So that's, but yeah. So those are how we investigate. I think we've been going on for an hour now. I think I should call it a day. Tato, I'm still waiting for you there on this issue of being attacked by a lion and you killing it. The shift. Oh, this is happening in the spiritual realm. Okay. Yes, it could mean that there's an authority shift that's going on. Whether you are taking over because you have overpowered this beast. That's what it could mean. So yeah, you are correct. This could be the case. Well, the question is, why does there need to be a shift in authority? Are you the one who was skinning this animal, Tato? No, okay, kulungile. That's fine. We'll see. We can pick up this conversation, Chato, but I think that's a shift in authority, yes, of course. Bahlali, I bid you good night. It's been interesting. I see there's also a very interesting comment here by Pta 5911. You should look at that, Bo Sisi. It's very interesting story that he's saying here. Very interesting insight also. Amen. Very interesting. Yeah. So yes, it is something that is stolen during sex, especially when it's the lady's first time. Very interesting, that one. But yeah, njengoba esho ukuthi we need to look at where is it stored and how it's transmuted. But it's a thing that only you ladies are going to be able to do. I really can't assist. I can only define the problem in this case and assist you navigating through figuring out what needs to be figured out or the complexities, but ultimately idinga abantu besimame le issue. It really does. Anyway, that's been it from me. Izophinda ibonane. Those who are chilling here, bengafuni ukusubscribe, they must subscribe. That's an order. Those who are not liking the videos or disliking them, they must do that. Because let other children also find this content and debating amongst themselves whether it's something that they can use or not. Yeah. Siyabonga. You know, I was thinking, it's very vital to understand this thing of women, and how different stories are told that seem to suggest that women did something there and screwed us all over. You know, the myths are different, but they seem to conclude the same way, that somewhere there, oh, mama did something and we are all screwed because of it. That is a very interesting coincidence, that all cultures could have that, and all of them don't have any other story that says where that was corrected. And this is the time. I think the time has come. I don't think the time has come to fix that. Yes, if it's an atonement that needs to be done, the ladies must do it. If it's whatever, but the time has come to fix that. Is what I'm getting, and we're not going to move forward until it is done. Balekile. The majesty must return to its original place where it's supposed to be, and to do that, the queendom must come and also take its place. It's not negotiable. It's not negotiable. The queens must become queens in the fullest of senses, because we are attempting to reintroduce the original kingship. Of course, besintu sizama ukubuyisa, but ubukhosikazi besintu nabo abukho, so you can't have the one taking hold without the other. It's not possible. So it must go hand in hand. It's not a matter of just taking a woman and calling her. It's like ubukhosikazi does not become ubukhosikazi just because usuthathwe inkosi. You have to have ubukhosikazi and then wenzeke ubukhosi because both of you have this thing. It's like it's a coming together of a pair. It's coming together of a pair. You're not gonna be you can't be incomplete and then be married to a man who's looking to complete himself, because you being incomplete is causing him to be incomplete. So both parties need to complete themselves. They must try find themselves and discover who they really are. Anyway, that's all. Angivale kwanele manje. Sibonge isikhathi senu, ukuthula, uthando, injabulo kube kunini nabantwana benu. Amithaba.